All right. I suppose we are live. Checking. Doesn't look like it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Sorry about that. Handled. Okay. Next. Next, I'm going to put down some structures. I really hope that Architectura gets some time to deal with Magic Sorter because it's not working for me. Several items are not identified and so I can't put them away where they belong. BBC. Okay, we're gonna start letting people know that I'm streaming and then talking about stuff going on and looking at houses. And trying to cheer ourselves up, which is always important. So yeah, so yesterday it looks like housing hike was canceled. J Hart taking a day off, which I'm sure is well earned. I think we all know it's well earned. I'm in a mood, I have to be honest. Somebody just brought up something really stupid and fighting with me on Facebook. And I tell myself I'm not going to get involved in these things. I'm just going to let it go. But man, when people are spewing pure garbage, it just makes me so furious. I'm going to close it. All right, so I think I put down the stuff I needed to put down. Thank you to Chaos Kitties who followed yesterday. I don't have a, oh, maybe I spelled it wrong. I see there's an extra T. Kitties. No, let's try it without the S. Oh, that worked. Rock on. Did not expect that to work. All right, so let's go look at houses, shall we? Let's go to our rando. Also, I opened up my Coldharbour, which has been closed, as an open house, fixing it. I fixed it, so hopefully that'll be good. All right, Andy Rue 495, Redmond Temple. Don't know this person, so it's a true rando. I can't bear to start with a Wraithhome. It's just too depressing. All right. If Griff is watching, I had to close my Facebook because it was drinking me crazy. And I'm a little stressed out about it. So there is a current thread, which you may be interested in, about housing and what questions we want to ask devs. So here is the link. I suggest you go and check it out, see if your questions are there, and if not, add them. If you're not a member of the forums, you have to go through customer service to request an invite. It's such a pain in the ass, but it's worth it. You should have it because if things go wrong, it's an easier way to get a hold of people sometimes and let your concerns be heard. Antiquities, little hidden niche over here. So you really should do it. Just go through customer service, request an invite. Sometimes it takes a while. I know mine did. And then you go and you. That guy. These are their legs. I swear to God, that's what they look like. They look like legs for golems. It's just weird. But it's a good thing to keep track of because there's a lot of stuff going on that you can weigh in on. And I know that the devs actually do read it, at least some of them. So it's worthwhile. Today I want to talk about simple solutions and simple cobbles. Things that we use as builders all the time as solutions to issues where, like, let's say the item doesn't even exist that we need. Like back in the day when we had to make cakes from scratch because, well, from scratch, that's kind of cute. We had to make cakes because there weren't any. Now we have cakes. But what are other items, you know, that we have to make all the time that we as builders tend to use as things? Like I have one item that I always use as a soap dispenser because it looks just like a soap dispenser to me. And here we can have some crafting. Seems like a mostly utilitarian house with some touches. So good for dropping in, getting your crafting done, getting your, you know, storage, getting your stuff done, showing off a couple of antiquities. So that's nice. Agononisis. Yeah, so things like that. And I want to talk about them. The next thing is I want to show you how to make a couple of those things. If I can. I actually spent some time really putting this together yesterday. I still don't know why I do this, but I do. Okay. Contests again. Just because we have the same ones as yesterday. So if you've seen these, you've seen them. But for anyone who maybe didn't check in or watch. Glorious Golden Cows, Farms, Proudspire Manor Pride. Again, remember, the rules have been updated to show that they only mean one room. Not one whole floor. One room. Be aware of that if you're going to enter. 102 effects. Suddenly I'm way more interested in checking out this house. I'm wondering if this is fog, this yellow fog. Welcome, seekers. I am Hermaeus Mora, the riddle unsolvable, the door unopenable, the book unreadable, question unanswerable. That's really well said. Also, a tiny beholder. I mean, he is a beholder of sorts, isn't he? Certainly looks a little like one. So clearly this is Apocrypha. Knowledge is only as wicked as the one who wields it. You may choose to limit your scope, but a true seeker is one of moral ambiguity. That's an interesting point. I wonder if that's a quote from the ESO peeps, because that holds some truth and wisdom in it. But I have always felt that I like how they did that. I've always felt that Hermaeus Mora isn't necessarily evil, usually. But he does do evil things, like getting rid of people who are no longer of any use to him. So I think he does show moral ambiguity. Oh, I totally love this. This reminds me of Muds. That's how, well, I mean, you wouldn't see the graphics in a Mud, but it reminds me of one. Oh, wow, look at that. Very impressive. I really like the use of the text boxes over the mobs. It reminds me of old-timey stuff. Old-timey in-game worlds. I would say he and Peridite are the most intriguing of the Daedric princes because their nature isn't clear. And it seems to me that, like, Meridia is also being sent along those lines as well. That essentially the Zos is setting her up to be more morally ambiguous than she appeared in Skyrim and in previous games, where she seemed to have been a good guy. Or a good girl, whatever you want to say. Storage. other stuff. This is really interesting. Now she seems from the end of the quest line, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. It seems like she's perhaps maybe not as good as she seems. Eternity in my service has its rewards, for knowledge is power. Willing or unwilling, all who strive to grow in skill and scope serve me. Just so you know, Agonisis, you used the wrong its. It's I-T-S, no apostrophe. The other one is it is, or possessive, but that's not the ones you mean. So you want the other one. Surrender the blood, memories of knowledge you have claimed in my name, seekers. May it be used to pen new tomes of power for my library. Well, that's not very innocent of you. Ah, good use. The Basin of Loss with nicely added items to it and effects. So that is cool looking. I don't know, does the Basin of Loss that they're selling right now actually have that crystal on top? Let's see. It does not. So they added that. They added that crystal, and I think it looks really good. And then clearly underneath it they have one of those Meridia light stones that is turned to color blue, so the blue and the yellow look really great together. I think that's well done. And we have a church type. Knowledge is power, and no god, be she Daedric or divine, has more power than I. My seekers, serve me and you will be rewarded. Hi, Cromwell. Yeah, that's a good point. If knowledge is power, is anyone more powerful than Hermaeus Mora? This throne is for my loyal demi-prince servant, High Lord Cooks Obal. His word and being are an extension of my own. Obey him, my seekers. Demi-prince. I wonder if that person actually exists. I am he now. Like, lore-wise exists, you know, not beyond what this is. Oh, look at that. Link to Hunter's Glade. What does this say? Black Book, the Blood Moon Cairn. Oh, that sounds interesting. Seems like there's a lot to explore with this fellow. Black Book, the Circle of Blades. What house is this? Ellen here. Circle of Blades. That's really smart. Does this one have one? No. Coldharbour Compact. You know, I gotta say, for... Oh, how did I miss that? It is basically Hermaeus Mora. I was looking at the fountain. I didn't see the Hermaeus right over it. Holy crap. That's spectacular. Oh, so well done. Wow. Holy crap, is that impressive. Standing O. Seriously. So those are all in, you know, the big vines, the Nirnroot vines that you can get that move, plus the eyes are the Psijic orbs, plus they have some nodes up there that are crown only, but that is phenomenal. I am astounded. Hold on just a moment. I want to pull up an image of the Hermaeus Mora so you can compare just how good that is. Gosh, there's a lot of different images of him in different games, so it's kind of hard to tell, but some of them are very stylized. But it's amazing. That's just amazing. All right, I got a good one. This should be a good comparison for you. Super neat. Super neat. Stabbytons. Downloads. That is probably not big enough for you to see, but there. Let's get bigger here. There's a good one. Just check that out. Isn't that amazing? Compared to that. In fact, this one looks better. Super impressive. Super impressive. Again, claps. Glad I turned around and saw that. I'm a little embarrassed I didn't catch it at first. I was so fixated on the new fountain I didn't even look up. The infinite black sea beyond these walls contain innumerable island libraries, unending knowledge, and they are mine to keep. You know, I wonder, does Hermaeus Mora actually know all of this stuff? Or does he just have the actual knowledge possessed, like in books at his home? Or does he know it all? Because the difference is important. If he knows it all, then what is his purpose of effing with the mortals? There has to be some intelligent purpose for it that makes sense and is compelling, because you'd think that somebody who has all of this knowledge really would know what to do and why. You know, they would have a purpose, I would think, that goes beyond just having fun, but maybe it is just having fun, who knows. But if he just holds the knowledge, perhaps doesn't actually know it, hasn't read all the books, you know, hasn't done all the homework, maybe he's just not as smart as he seems. Maybe there is no other purpose than just messing with people. Just a thought. I think it is an interesting way to think about it. But yeah, super impressive, very much so. What you see here is mere fraction of my realm, for the sheer length and breadth of Apocrypha would shatter the mortal minds to pieces. Indeed. Since we're doing a little bit of Hermaeus Mora, I would like to show you two other Hermaeus Mora homes that are impressive as hell. Hopefully one of them is still there. We're talking about it. I don't know if Sublu got rid of it or not, but Sublu had a really good Hermaeus Mora build. I mean, what are your feelings on Hermaeus Mora? Do you guys think that he's good or evil or somewhere in between? And does he actually know everything? Or does he simply possess the knowledge? So here we go. This is the beginning of Sublu's Apocrypha, which I have visited before, but for some reason my name isn't on it. But look at that beauty. Nice start, and then you turn around, actually. You don't go direct through there. She's actually built out behind it. Look at the way the papers float at you. Like, this is a perfect example of action, things going on. It's captured in a photograph like that. You know, it's like, here's the action going on, but it's not moving because it can't, but it's like it's action. And then here are the libraries, of course, and the black tendrils. And then look at what the stairs are. The stairs are books, handmade. If that isn't spectacular, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what she used as the floors. Maybe Lakemire walls? I'm not 100%. Okay. This must have eaten a lot of item count. But look, see, there's some use of the same material for the tendrils, which makes sense because tendrils are part of Hermaeus Mora. Which is interesting. It's like, why does he choose to take that form? But there you go. That is Subalu's Hermaeus Mora, which is also using blue, but for in a different way. She's using it with the crystals instead of the just the tendrils. And I think she also added a ton of black tendril smoke, which is pretty damn expensive, but good for her because it's really pretty and inspiring. That is something else. And of course the sky is an effect. And I'm showing you one more Apocrypha, but this one does not have it does not have Hermaeus Mora at home, but it's still pretty freaking cool. I've shown it a couple times on this stream. Now you're gonna look at this and you're gonna be like, this must have cost a small house worth. It would have if Cardi didn't work for us. So any normal person trying to build this house could not probably do it for anything less than the cost of a house, but Cardi's special. So this is the entrance. Wait for the effects to kick in. There you go, nice and dark. When we got the blur going on here, just in case you didn't know, you can do a blur effect with EHT. And then inside, this is Lakemire Apocrypha. So take a look around at just Apocrypha. With the lights on, it's actually a little more impressive when you see just how many friggin' books there are. I mean, it just keeps going. It's really quite astounding. The sheer volume. Volume, get it? That was terrible. Terrible, but funny to me. I suppose these are probably the tendrils of Hermaeus. I don't know that he's actually in here, but he may have tendrils in here. So pretty damn awesome to get a bunch of Hermaeus Mora builds. These are the only ones I know of. If there's others, I'm happy to visit them. Okay, next. Thank you for the follow, Jonica. Leslax's Twin Arches Hideout. I love Leslax's work. I'm looking forward to seeing the finished rebuild of the Lakemire house, or the lakeside house in Skyrim that he's doing. Should be exciting to see. It's funny because I was going to bring you guys to the Subalu house anyway, and then just happened to stumble upon an Apocrypha house today. Let me just real quick see if I can send this to Jonica. Boom. Nope. You must not be on NA. Hideout. So, looks like a hideout. This house is frustrating because look, you'll be able to go up this pathway, but you shouldn't be able to actually get on this part here, which is why it's pretty decent that Leslax thought to put blocking so you don't actually try to get through. You can go to this portion, just not anything beyond here. So this is a really clever usage of space in an otherwise extremely small location. So Just looking at what you would need for a hideout. And I bet you find a lot of it here. Books to keep you busy for sure. Some of your spoils as well. Food. A repair kit. A weapon. Poisons. Nothing. Your pet scorpion, of course. How else do you get your poison? You gotta get it out of your scorp. Making food in your kitchen here. And clearly you have to work on fixing your cart and your car because both are broken down, which is probably why you can't get away and have to sit in a hideout. But no matter what, it's still important to do your laundry and hang your deer. I did the same thing in my hideout. I was like, you know, it's thinking of it, thieves probably don't bathe all that much and certainly don't wash their clothes all that much, but yet I did the same thing. So here's a bunch of the cargo, I would assume. And I think that's it, but it's a really neatly done, and they closed off extra areas so that they could build up what's up here and not exceed their count, their item count. So this is really cool. I muchly appreciate it. Who's this? Rodi 412 Tsaisci house. I can never pronounce that. Cyrodilic. Tsaisci? Tsaisci? What? I don't know. Stabbies are dumb. Tsaisci? You're all so quiet today. It's Saturday morning. Wake up. Wake up! You don't have to go to work. Now, I don't know what culture Tsaisci is supposed to emulate, but I will say that the outfit looks like it's supposed to emulate Chinese culture. But who knows, right? In ESO, cultures are so mingled. Hi, Ula. That you can't really say what's what. This is cool, by the way. It's hard to judge. So they handmade this. They added, these are two different, just, what are they called? It's not like a light post, but without the lights. I forget what they're called. And then this is one of those arches, Kijiji arches, and they put them together to make a double arch. Unfortunately, you have to buy bamboo from the crown seller, which is a pain in the booty. Or a pain in the pocket is more like it. Raw fish. Makes sense. I always feel like people who do something like this have actually seen reenactments of old homes, like old-fashioned homes from prior to ovens and whatnot, because people would have a something that they would put their pots on to hang, and you could either pull it in front of the fire or pull it over the fire. And they also would lean a lot of their pans and their toaster, because they had toasters, in front of the fireplace on the edge. And with the toaster, they'd just kick it to spin it. It's actually a really cool looking thing. Really neat. Here you go. This is a toaster. Hard to believe, but they are actually toasters. I love it. They call it primitive. Primitive. It's a toaster. Here you go. That's an old-fashioned toaster. So you'd put the bread in this section here. You'd lay it in front of the fire so one side gets toasted. And then you would turn it with your foot so that it would the second side would get warm. And that's how you toast both sides. That's an old-fashioned toaster. So it feels to me like whoever uses stuff like that is aware of how things used to work, you know? Yes, I'm a total nerd. I'm well aware that I am a total nerd. I'm okay with that. Somebody has to be aware of our past. If it's got to be me, I'm okay with that. So, here. That's interesting. I guess you could... There's no reason not to hang it. The wardrobe. I mean, if it fits there, it sits there. Well, I'm educational eventually, you know, occasionally. Not always, but occasionally I will be an educational watch. All right. So today I want to show you a couple of things that people wanted to know how to make. These are going to be really, really simple, and then we'll go over to EU. I apologize for any of you who know how to make all these things, but a lot of people ask me, how do I make this? How do I make that? And they're really not too hard, and they're common things that people need or want to do a lot. So it'll be fast because I'm mostly just going to show it to you. None of this is food. I've done a food episode before, so this isn't going to be any food, but I'm going to use mostly my own houses. If I do another episode, I'll come up with more stuff, but this is something that I see people asking for a lot, and the really easy answer is they ask, how do you make a grapevine when we don't have grapevines? Oh my god, it's so simple. So first of all, you get you can use an Argonian trellis or whatever kind of trellis if you want, you know. The pergola works fine. And you would just put ivy over it. You can buy this curtained ivy, which is folded, or the straight ivy from, I think it's Volkwasten in Malvator. It's like 100 gold a piece. And then you literally just put grapes on it. You make the grapes and you stick it on it where you think grapes would hang. That's how you make a grapevine. A lot of people ask about it because we have all this wine material, but don't really know, like, what do we do? Like, how do we make that? Super simple. The next thing that a lot of us builders make is chicken coops. There is no chicken coop in game. Hey, sea unicorns. So when you want to make a chicken coop, this cargo box works perfectly for it. And then I use a hay bed underneath it to represent the hay and whatnot. Now these chickens are EHT, but if you have the spots, you could always put in a pet chicken, a non-combat pet chicken. Like, I'm sure I have one. Is a chicken not considered? You would think that a chicken would be considered domestic, but apparently not. Now, the spectral chicken I understand not being domestic, but Mara's spring chicken, you'd think. All right, gotta put you away so I can put a chicken down. Here you go. So if you're really hung up on using a chicken, you can. There's multiple chickens that you can get. But there's your chicken coop right there with a chicken in it. And that's how you make one. Of course, in reality, that's not nearly deep enough and it doesn't have enough stuff for it, but it passes. The next thing is, no one really asked for this, but since I'm here, making a honey, like, what do you call it? A hive. This is not the best hive I've seen. I've seen way better hives, but this was my first attempt at cobbling a hive. So if you want to steal this idea, feel free. That's an effect there. But there are better ways to do it than what I did there. Okay, The next thing is people ask, how do I make jewelry? Like I want bracelets, necklaces, rings. I want to show that my person is wealthy. There's nothing like that we can really use in the game. Well, it's actually not that hard. What you do is you take cups and anything else. Those are ginkgo trees. You can buy them for, I think, 1,000 gold each from the furnishing vendor in Alinor. You can sink in a cup for a bracelet. You can sink in, this is the pen holder, the ink holder, can be a ring. And then necklaces you can make with a plate. You sink them down until you just get the circle portion, and then you have jewelry. These are meant to be lipstick, and then you can always just put down bottles to be perfumes and whatnot. Another thing people like to do for makeup is they'll use this. This is intended, like this can be anything you want it to be, but a lot of people see this as makeup. J-Heart sees it as chocolates. I tend to see it as whatever I need it to be, but a lot of people see that as makeup. Another thing you can do is the poison satchel can pass really well for either salt, like bathtub stuff, you know, or it can pose for perfumes or whatnot, but I tend to think of it as bathrooms, you know, tub stuff. And I think that's all I've got on me. Sometimes people use this one for makeup, but I don't know that I think it's as good because it confuses people. I think people tend to think that's just painting. They don't realize that it's not just painting. It's actually, you know, makeup in this case. But what I'm talking about with using bottles to make perfume in other containers is you literally just sink them down in, so you only have this portion, or maybe even just this portion, whatever you want to use of it, is how you make that. Always consider what you can make by sinking things into the table, the wall. Another thing that people use a lot, this passes as a toilet or a sink. Whatever you want it to be. In this case, I think I intended it to be a toilet, but it can be whatever. And people will either sink this into the wall or leave it like this. And then a lot of times people will put shelves next to it for two reasons. One is for Demolition Man. You'll get it if you know what I'm talking about. Secondly, it's for, a lot of people have those little shelf soaps in their bathrooms. And I think that's what that can also mean to some people. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's pretty understandable. Sinks, now that we're talking about them, I'll show you two sinks real quick. Had to make them pretty easily. Yeah, I'm just trying to show everybody easy cobbles that anyone can do. You know, I'm not talking crochet level. I'm talking basic cobbles that one or two pieces maybe. Mailboxes. There you go. People, we don't have mailboxes. You get it, Faye Pixie. We don't have mailboxes in the game. So what do? Well, here's he doesn't know how to use the shells. You can either use this little barrel, which I think is very rustic looking, or you could use something that's a little bit more mailbox looking, like a chest or a small container that's shaped that way. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way of making cute mailboxes. There's a whole bunch of ways to make them, but they aren't in the game, and that just takes two items right there. So here it is as a sink. Okay? So what I did is I took the fountain, the same fountain, stuck it in the wall, and as a dispenser, I stuck a Mara, not a Mara, one of those statues. This one happens to be the elsewhere dude in the wall to make it look like a faucet. You can really use just basically anything. A lot of times I use those dwarven pipe pieces or whatever. Only if they're okay with it. If they're not, I worry about that kind of thing, because I've pissed people off in the past and they've gotten really mad at me. So then I have this kind of sink, which this is more like real lifey kind of, because what people used to do when they didn't shower every day is they would come in they'd use a bucket to pick up their ewer, to pick up a ewer full of water. So they'd have a bucket next to this, and then they would, wow, you really don't fit properly, do you? Whatever, we'll just pretend like you do. They'd have a bucket, they'd fill it full of water, then they'd put it in their ewer, and in the mornings, they'd take the ewer, and they'd splash it up on their faces, and give themselves like what some people call a prostitute's shower. Yeah, they take water, they just splashed it on themselves, whatever, and then they would put perfume on or whatever it is to cover the smell. The other thing that they used to do is when it was winter, the ewers full of water would freeze, so they had to break the ice over the top of it, and then use the water that's like underneath the frozen bits. Imagine how cold that was. You have to smash it to put it in on your face. You must have just had the worst reaction to that. It would have been awful. And those were the days of when they used to have chamber pots underneath the bed. And basically you'd poop and pee into it at night, so you didn't have to run out into the outhouse. And then someone would have to dump it in the morning. Classy, huh? It's better than having to run out to a frozen outhouse and stick your butt naked onto a piece of wood, you know? The things you learn from watching me, right? Okay, so my Forsaken has a couple of things, and then we'll... Yes, there's a lot of really clever hints at bathrooms in this game, too, if you're careful about it. Keep your eye out for buckets next to books. There are spots in the game, in certain delves, in certain places you look, that you'll find buckets just randomly sitting next to a single book on a table. What do you think that is? And back then, they didn't have toilet paper. So they used other things. And if they had nothing else, they used their hands. So there's that. There's my chicken coop again. Now, I want to show you something cool about planting pumpkins. Or any other kind of veggie that doesn't have like a plant around it. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So let's say you want to plant a pumpkin patch. One of the ways to do it is you take a plain pumpkin, which comes by itself. So you just have the one pumpkin, right? Well, you want to make it look like it's growing out of the ground. And pumpkins don't just grow like that. So what you do is you take a fern that you bought for 100 gold. Usually other ones work better, look a little better, but I just went with ferns because I thought the curly bits sort of resembled the curly bits of the pumpkin vine. But you can use other greens and just stick them over the pumpkin so that it looks like they're growing. It's not just a pumpkin sitting there. And that can be true of anything else that grows on a vine that you just don't really know how to show how that works. Because you're like, but it just looks dumb just sitting there. Yes, so put it on something. These are cobbles too. These little buildings aren't normally here, but I'm not gonna give you advanced stuff today. But I wanted to show you the mailboxes. I did the same exact mailboxes in this little town, and they work. Also, if you do ever build little houses, you can always use incense with one of these little logs to make a chimney. I personally think they're adorable chimneys, but that's just me. You see a lot of effects in here too. I put a lot of effects into this house. Why is that on that angle? You know, a lot of things shifted in a couple of patches ago, and I'm still fixing them. It's really kind of annoying. So then I wanted to show you inside. So that's the little farm village, okay? One guy is a wood chopping guy. You can see him over there. And you've got the one that's a cow. He sows, and he also has a cow. And then this one has all the pumpkins, and he also fishes. You can tell because there's fish out front. So we go inside. And this also has a lot of effects in here. But we've got, here's another sink. But this is what I was talking about with the soap dispenser. I use this as a soap dispenser in every house because it freaking looks like one. Why is that on a weird angle? So you can either bury it in the wall, if that's your thing, or just sit it there even, you know, like on a little stand. There you go. Why are you on a stupid angle? Please explain to me why you're on a stupid angle. There, good enough. No, it's not good enough. What the hell? What the hell? The sink is on a stupid angle too. I don't know why this is all being stupid. Anyway, point being, sink, soap. Use it for soap. You could probably do it better than me. So yesterday, or the day ago, or a couple days ago, I came in here, and I'll show you what I did. It was the most pleasing thing. So you see how this wood was. Okay, so the wood I had originally just like had like this, right? It was in this terrible position because I figured I have effects over it. But I came in here and I was like, you know, some people aren't going to have effects, and this is really just dirty and ugly looking. So the new trick that you can use is you go in, you hit F, right? Thanks for the follow, Chicago Sox. And then you're in precision editing mode. Then you hit H. Enter. H straightens things. So H is your best friend now. Like, you can go around and make sure all your paintings are straight. You can make sure all your pictures are straight. Let's say your picture's all stupid on the wall, like you're just not sure how to do it and it's kind of off-center. You go into, again, F for precision edit, and then H for straighten. And it's automatically straightened by the game. You have Cardi to thank for that. It is the most wonderful thing ever. I love it. I just want to run around and hit straighten on absolutely everything. And typically do run around and hit straighten on everything. See, aren't I useful? Occasionally you can learn something from me. Here's a table that you can make out of 300 gold's worth of stuff. Buy 3 of these logs from a furnishing vendor and plop them together like this, and you have a fancy table. Another thing is you can make a couch. All you do is you take a couple of beds. Don't feel dumb. It's new. I took 1, 2. See, I put them on different. I put them on against each other, and then I have 3 and 4. And if you put them on an angle, you have a couch. Now, this can be done with almost every bed and almost every bed and seating. I mean, you could do it with a lot of different things. It looks good with this. It looks good with a couple of other things. You gotta watch out for your headboards. The headboards can be a problem. So you gotta just try different combinations and see what you like, you know? All right, another thing that people want that they are upset they don't have is a piano. Okay? Here's my goat piano. The altar, I'd say, is probably the best thing for making any kind of piano. I think it looks great for a piano base. My papers don't look so good though. The keyboard, however, is, I use the cheap version, which is, these are box tops that you can buy in Canarthy's from the vendors. They kind of look like keys, but if you want to make it look good, not like I did, use books. If you use the books with, I don't have any books on me, seriously. If you use books with the part up, do I have any books over here that are real? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. No, that's a fake one. Really? No, that's real. Okay, so you take your book. That's why, yes, I make that joke every time. So you take a book, and then use the paper side up, and if you put it in here properly, on the right angle, which this is not, per se it is for a moment, and you just have enough books to go across, they look like keys. So you just put them side to side all the way across, and you've got keys. So that's how you make a piano. That's how we've been doing it. We builders who have been pissed off that we haven't had a piano, pissed off that we haven't had any kind of other thing that we want, we've had to make them. And this is an easy way to do it with 2 items if you want to do it this way, and a few more items if you want to do it with other items. My effects are back on now. A little bowling alley in case you want to steal that idea. But a board game. We don't have any board games. You can use any rug you want, but I thought this one looked like a game. And then little pipe cogs to me look like pieces. But in case it wasn't clear enough, I put timers. So you can roll with that idea if that's something you're interested in. That's not something I'm going to claim, that no one else can do. Go ahead and do it. That one looks like it needs to be straightened. Yay! I get to straighten things. Precision edit. Straighten. Are you straight now? No! Bastard. That's because the stupid thing isn't straight. Anyway, I want to show you another trick. So, you want a shield on your wall. There are many ways to make a shield on your wall, but this is one of them. See, this doesn't stand out very well, does it? I'll put it in the light so you can see it a little better. You take your orc guy, your orc statue guy, which are actually fairly cheap, and you stick them in the wall, and you have a shield now on your wall. And all you need to do is stick them in the wall. Another shield, should you want. And I took this one from Ula, so I'm going to admit that. She used a caisson. She used this caisson, which really looks like a shield, doesn't it? Now you have a shield on the wall. And I'm going to go one step further and copy her a little more and show you what else she did. She took axes. And she did one of these. So you can, if I knew how to do this properly, because I don't. I think that one of them's a hatchet. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Pretend that that's not a hatchet and pretend it's an axe. So pretend that's an axe. And you've got one of those going on. And if you want to get really fancy, you could always take a trophy that's big enough. Marcellock's certainly big enough. And you turn it around and you just properly place it. Oh, shush. It looks like a damn, whatchamacallit, shield to me. All right, and so you only see the one because I didn't move the hatchet up far enough up. But there you go. That's how you make it. Let me pull the hatchet out and redo it, because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't. Gosh, I'm such a dumbass. I think it looks good. I think you did an amazing job, so I wouldn't pick on you about it. I was really impressed by this, so I'm going to use it as an example, and everyone can just shut up if they don't like it. So there you go. Doesn't that look good? I'm really a fan of this. I think this is like a super clever idea. Now, one of the things that we saw yesterday that was a first time thing for me that I had never seen before, and I was really excited about, let me get the case on back, was the get a courtyard pole. Let's just steal this for the moment. Flip it upside down. Now pretend this is a real pole, because this does not look like a real pole because it's got the 3 pieces in it. But I'm so embarrassed. I just learned this yesterday and I was so impressed with it. Okay. Come on, where you be? Yes, they do. I've seen some amazing ones. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. No, I don't have it on me. 2 cheeses, 2 cheese cutters on either side of this makes it look like a halberd. I just learned that yesterday, so I'm super impressed. Something to know about working with ivy, though. Look at that. Look at how I'm aiming down here and it's still selecting the ivy. That's because ivy has a hit box that is the size of the entire friggin' wall. It's a mess. I don't understand why it's so big, but I doubt they're ever going to go back and fix it. So, unfortunately, we have to put up with it. All right, Marcellock, you go away. So you're going to have to do retrieve items when you want to put them away when dealing with around ivy, because ivy will just be a total jerk and take everything. So there you go. A whole bunch of different ideas for doing that stuff. Did I put it in here? No. I'll show you real quick. 2 things, and then we'll get on with it. Oh, Barb took Flaming X. Hello, Dory. It's weird to hear you say good evening when it's 11 a.m. here. But we're almost done with my little easy stuff tour, and then I'm gonna start in on a less easy stuff next episode. But first things first, get through the easy stuff. So we've got my little beach in here. Now this makes an amazing lawn chair or beach chair. This is an Argonian tarp woven. And all you do is you sink it into the ground and you have a beach chair. That's not even a cobble. That's just using something differently, right? This is obviously the Hughes Bane basket of clothing or whatever it is. Now it's a target. Now you could have a target range right there, because that's a target. So using things differently, I'm a big fan. And there you go. Just two little easy ones. And I think the last one, I want to show you, unfortunately I have to go for my Matisse and for. I say unfortunately because I hate having to go from place to place, but I'll show you. And then we'll go over to EU. I think there's lightning and thunder. Yeah, definitely thunder. That's funny. The only thing I don't like about it raining so much, this, by the way, is my Rapunzel. If anyone had not seen it before, this is Rapunzel. Let down your hair. I want to show you how to make a blank canvas. It's actually pretty easy. What you do is you take a painting you can actually select, which is very few of them because they're all, for some reason, stuck to the wall. We'll take two paintings, shall we? Take a autumn, and we'll take a great ruins. All right, and then I'll show you how to make a blank canvas. Paintings. You take one painting. Ooh, I used the wrong kind. Whoopsie doodle. Painting of summer. That should work. That's the one I wanted. So you've got the painting of summer, right? That's the back of it. So you want to use something as a canvas. There you go. Now what do you do about the back? It obviously is a painting put backwards. Well, if you put them both back to back and you do it just so, which I'm not going to do just so because I suck, you actually do get, you can have one, actually I think it's just backwards, and then another one behind it like that. If you stack them, wow, I'm really being stupid today. You stack them properly, you've got a blank canvas now. And if you get them right to the right level, then it looks like when you come around back that it's just an empty frame. So you have an empty frame now that you can paint in. Only just by using the back. You don't even need the double one if you're using like an easel or something. So I would think that that's actually really simple to play with and do. Don't forget, I always I always like to put things in my paintings. So there's like a cow over here. And then there's a hopping frog in this one somewhere. See him? All right, so I'm going to show you my Coldharbour. I've actually finished it, fixed it. It's now an open house, and then we're going to go over heavy effects. Not like the house that I typically make anymore, but because I have trouble with people. Some people, like, if I'm making a contest house, I have to go light on the effects, or people are very judgy. So this was just a house I made because I wanted to make it. So I did what I wanted to with it, which is I did heavy effects because I'm a big fan of them. Wait for it to load. Load your boat. Okay, so I fixed it. You've got enough of that tropical color water. You can see it has very fast current. But it also now everything is actually underwater, so you can actually see it. I might make this even lighter so that it looks less strangely blue. Let me fix that real quick. No, not the bubbles. Not the dirt. water. So you can go even lighter. Any kind of transparency you want, all the way up to none. I like the brightness up because you can see it much clearer, but contrast, saturation rather. But you get the idea. So then you can walk through and you can see things now. Whereas if I had it off, this is what you would see. I put dirt in there. You have bubbles coming out of the seashell. You have coral, that's all effects. These pieces are effects. There's a boat that's an effect. The turtle's gonna drown, isn't he? I'll move him. Don't want you to drown, Mr. Turtle. There you go. Salamander's gonna drown too. Sadness. Where can I put my salamander? I can go right there. Mr. Salamander. There's the boat. Which, you know, it's funny, as I get better at effects, I'm very much like, I want that to be smaller, flatter. And I'm better at it. Hi, Fiendish. Like, this to me looks better now. And we'll put it down into the water. There. Boat looks a little better to me. If he's smart, he will. Nom, nom, nom. And then bubbles. We got a frog and fishies. Yeah, so I made this one entirely for myself. This was not for any contest. Back when I had inspiration. And then this is Meridia being Meridia E. Because the idea of this is the whole thing is Meridia's colored isles. So I don't want that underwater. So here you go. If you've ever seen Meridia's colored isles, it's a lot of coral. So I did reproduce it in that sense. So I wonder why this sky is gone. There should be what do I have up? Doesn't say. Unless I'm blind. Aetherius. I have Aetherius stuff. It just doesn't look very Aetherius-y. Well, I can show you other ones. This is Anu and Padme. I don't see it. I wonder if something's up with this sky. Let's test this. Ah, there we go. Aurora Borealis at night. Which actually kind of looks kind of neat. This is Aurora Borealis during the day. See? I think that's quite beautiful. I might actually leave that. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this one. Just checking access because I had set this to limited visitor, and it's doing that again. Alright, so let's just, because I've made changes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit share, I'm going to do publish to community, confirm. No, I do not want to reload. But what that means is the next time I come in, it will update it. So we've got that going on. So let's go over to EU. I'm pleased with that one. That was a lot of hard work. You know? Oh! There's an update to essential housing tools. Holy shit, what? Okay, I'm going to read them to you as we load up EU and I just hit the wrong button. API update for the upcoming ESO release, which means it'll work on the PTS, so I gotta move this over to the PTS too. Deprecated the easy slide feature, which has been replaced by the click and drag feature of the new precision edit mode. So that means that easy slide video I could probably get rid of. Removed the deprecated reference to libstub from the included libraries. Thank you. Fixed an issue that caused linked items to move incorrectly. Note that this fix will go live with the upcoming ESO release. Cardi had to have been involved in that one. I don't know if you know, but Architectura, his assistant, is doing most of the work because Cardi works for ZOS like 90% of the time. So, fixed an issue that prevented players from adding custom notes for homes shown in the Housing Hub. Okay. Fixed several cosmetic bugs. Awesome. So, certain things are not going to work until the next ESO release, but that's okay. So, if you want to use EHT on the PTS, let me show you something. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'll show you my display while we're loading up. Okay. So while we're loading, now I want you to see what I'm doing here, okay? So you go into ESO, go to Live, go to Add-ons, hey Tierna, and you see Essential Housing Tools. So you take Essential Housing Tools, you hit Copy, right? Then you go back to Elder Scrolls Online, you select PTS instead, hit Add-ons, and then you hit Paste. Wow, I just moved all of my add-ons. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do just E1. Don't know why it did that. ESO Housing Tools. Copy just Essential Housing Tools. Elder Scrolls, PTS, add-ons. Paste. Wow, it really isn't working. Why are you being stupid? I'll just go into it. That should make it work. Essential Housing Tools. Just take the whole damn thing. Alright. Copy. Look at that. Oh, because it is the 760 items from Essential Housing Tools. Alright, whatever. I get it now. It just said something different. So we'll undo that and then we'll do it right. It looked to me like I was saying something else than what it did. So replace. We want to replace the files in the destination. There we go. So yeah, now you can use EHT on the PTS. If you do that. And now we're on EU, so I'll move that screen back up. There we go. Alright. So, hopefully some people have put up their houses. There's a couple. Silly 2202. Proudspire. House Tamriel's Glory. We have not seen one of these. So now, you know, I didn't know that. I didn't know for the longest time you could use EHT on the PTS. So what this means for you is you now know how to put EHT on the PTS, which means you can build in homes you don't own. You can build with items you don't own. Make a big, gorgeous, expensive build for free. Save it. And if you choose to build it on live, you can just paste it. Simple as that. It's really easy. And now you have other options. Oh shit. I keep shooting at it. It won't let me select it. Oh boy. Maybe it's time to change those controls. Anyway. I wonder if I can. Show. Alright,